Jim, crypto news and analysis here, August 1st. And what is going on with the markets today? What is going on with the Bitcoins, the whole market? Why is everything dumping? And I'll just break this down to you guys today. So currently Bitcoin, I did say in the last video that we should probably expect, like, because we got the daily close here and I wouldn't be surprised if it went straight to 112K. Currently, I guess it is just going straight down there. I was expecting more of a choppier path, but the thing is we've had low volatility for almost a month now, 3 weeks, and usually after such low volatility there's going to be an explosive move either up or down, but Bitcoin decided to go down and currently it is doing this. I did shorts here at around 115,000 a retest. I put down the Telegram for my own self personally, and currently that short is pretty much chilling. But basically this Bitcoin, it seems like it's going lower. So there is this clear break of structure, 117K. It was heavily fought over, but now we are seeing some pretty insane downside here. I think Bitcoin does go lower. I think for now there might be a little bit of a bounce here to retest the 114,700 and then something down to 112K. I think that's what's going to happen in the next few days. But once we do see 112K, I'm expecting a pretty choppy price action, honestly, and eventually higher, or perhaps this could be the beginning of a very choppy month, right? Because we've had, if we zoom out on the higher time frame, Bitcoin has been pretty much up only for, what is this, since April, and now it is August. It's been a 4-month rally, and the fact is that now, well, will this continue just to do this, have a V-shaped recovery and then straight to 150K? I don't know. And the reason why I'm saying this is because we've had this really huge rally here and also here. So it had this bullish market structure. But the thing is that we're also getting pretty close to the end of the 4-year cycle. And now Bitcoin currently resistance wise is 120K. So for us to have our price targets to like 150K, 200K, where the fuck people are saying, Bitcoin will have to form a pretty big base essentially from here. So what I'm expecting for the next few weeks basically is that now that we were having this impulsive move lower, so I'm expecting this impulsive move lower to go on for the next few more days before it forms a more consolidative chop. I believe that our choppy period for August is probably going to be a pretty boring month, is that once it does retest 112K, maybe a slight bounce to 114, and then it's just going to be a pretty choppy month for Bitcoin. And then eventually it's going to build a base higher for Q4, because Q4 is historically a very bullish time. So that's my current bias for the Bitcoin markets. So right now I think we go lower still for just maybe a few more days, and then it's going to chop around for a bit until eventually higher at the end of the year. And there's also the potential that it does break this trend line. So maybe Bitcoin's like, okay, well, fuck this. The Bitcoin super cycle is no longer true. And now we're going to retest 100K or something. So I think if I look at the EMAs here, the EMAs, there's a pretty obvious one at the 200-day EMA at 100K. It has yet to retest this 100K level. And the thing is that if Bitcoin does go lower there, then we would expect a pretty much a bear market for Bitcoin. But it won't be a bear market where it goes down to like 70%. It will only go down maybe 30, 40%, maybe 20%, something like that. It's not going to be something ginormous like here, this bear market. Now the fact is that Bitcoin has pretty much received a reserve recognition from the governments, and it's also blasted so far market structure wise past its previous all-time highs, that for it to have an insane drawdown like that, especially in current market conditions with the quantitative easing by the Federal Reserve. I mean, right now they're doing quantitative tightening, but they have to do quantitative easing once they see the fucking data for the economy, basically, because the Federal Reserve, they are essentially lagging indicators for data. They essentially react to data late than early, so they were not really forward people. But the thing is that I can assure you that in the real world, it's not the best. But if Bitcoin, there are two paths here where essentially it can just chill and hit the 112K, have a nice bounce, and then it's going to chop around a bit, and then it's going to form a base for it to go higher. Or this could be the start of a bear market where it does the 112K retest, and then maybe slight bounce, and then down it goes to the cascade, first to 107K for the 100-day EMA, and then 100K. And when it hits 100K, well, we'll have to see what happens there. I expect pretty much a choppy price action, but this choppy price action is going to be very, very fucking long, because the bullish market structure is no longer valid, and Bitcoin's bull market, it will probably enter maybe like a year-long accumulation period, like 90 to 100K if I were to guess. So it would do maybe like something, I don't know, man, maybe something like this before it goes higher. That would be a pretty possible case if this is the start of a bear market and it goes lower to test 100K. Like 107K, for example, even that is pretty fucking bearish for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes to 107K, then it would be a pretty choppy 2026 basically, but 100K would pretty much seal the deal. So right now, Bitcoin pretty much has to bounce from 112K for us to have this bull market thesis, so that we don't have consolidation for a month in August instead of for a year. And then basically 112K has to bounce for Bitcoin to reach people's targets like 150K. I don't even know if it would be 150K, since that's like globally consensus now. It would probably reach like 130K as a blow off top, and it will reach a market cap that people don't really expect. Maybe something like this, form a blow off top, and then starts the Bitcoin quote unquote bear market. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on Bitcoin currently. Ethereum is still pretty strong. Ethereum is pretty much retesting this 50-day EMA. And right now it's currently holding it. We're about to get the daily close in 3 hours. And the thing is that Ethereum is forming a slightly distributive price action here, where it is breaking its bullish market structure. So Ethereum, what you can expect with this is a very choppy price action. So I'm expecting a bounce perhaps back here, and then it could consolidate down here. Like this could be the lowest it goes, and then later on it forms a base to go higher, or it just keeps going lower and then it retests this level 3100 for the 50-day EMA. I don't think it will go lower than 50 days, because I mean, if it went down to like 2800 again, that's Ethereum is fucking cooked. But 3100 would be the bear case for Ethereum. But of course, the bull case is if it chills around 3400 and builds a base higher for later, when Ethereum can essentially retest all-time highs again and go to our targets of like 5K, 6K, those wonderful numbers. But for now, basically, the numbers here are suggesting chop for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. The chop will last for many, many weeks, whether it goes lower. So if Bitcoin goes to 107K, Ethereum, or Bitcoin goes to 107K, 100K, you can expect Ethereum to, or if Bitcoin goes to 107K, Ethereum will be at 3100. If Bitcoin goes to 100K, then that's pretty much the end of the bull market, and Ethereum is pretty much fucked. So 112K is the highest probability place of bouncing, since the 50-day EMA is pretty much respected by Bitcoin. The last time it did tap around here, right? But that is my solution on this. The altcoins are kind of yikes. Like Hyperliquid, for example, this, I don't know, man. This is looking pretty distributive at this point, and it's losing a lot of momentum. So if you're in Hyperliquid, don't be surprised if it does one of these, since it's been up only for so long like that. But, you know, these things, they pretty much wind down as, it will take longer for it to wind down than it took to pump. But this chart structure doesn't really look the best. But in terms of altcoins currently are pretty much bearish for now. I'm expecting them to pretty much chop around. They are going to underperform compared to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is probably going to be the stronger asset for now, and Bitcoin dominance, well, it's pretty much going up only. So we could expect, instead of it to follow this alt season that people expect, is that it actually goes higher like that, and then maybe it goes lower at the end of the year. That's my current expectation. And if we also look at I wanted to give this as a potential play for the next few weeks. So Dogecoin actually has a really, really nice bullish market structure, and I'm thinking that once the opportunity presents itself and it forms a base, so right now wouldn't be the time to get long, but I'm thinking a Dogecoin swing long is probably one of the best, since it's done its 90% retrace from the top here, and now it's forming the double booty cheeks. So once the moving averages essentially cross over, and then you could see some interest in Dogecoin to go higher, I can't really tell you why, except that the price action is suggesting that we could see a retest of the higher levels here of like 48 cents or something. I don't know if it'll go to $1. $1's pretty tough to say, but thing is that this bullish price action is good. Dogecoin looks very, very good, but this is something that we have to think about a couple weeks from now, since crypto is going to essentially enter a pretty choppy market period, in my own opinion, in August. And yeah, it's pretty low probability for us just to, could you say, just a false breakout? Pretty much almost impossible. And lower is considered the current market direction. A lot of other tokens, well, don't have much else to say. And I'll look at this Twitter post here. So Trump, America is a crypto capital of the world. SEC, most crypto assets are not securities. Sailors raising $4.2 billion to buy more BTC Bitcoin. So this happened like a day ago. And even I was seeing this, I was seeing all the shit like, oh, well, the SEC saying that crypto assets, we're going to officialize this. And Trump saying America is a crypto capital, and that Sailors, he's buying so much Bitcoin. But the thing is, this is super bullish news, except that Bitcoin did not react well to it. So this is a classic example of bullish news failure. And essentially when news like that is coming out, but price fails to go lower. So me personally, when I did my own short trade here, which is doing pretty decently, is that I essentially took this as a part of the system, and I was like, damn, yeah, price doesn't really respect the news. Like, this is really, really good news, but why the fuck is it going lower? Why is it weaker? So I'll just give that as an example. And in terms of the altcoin market in DeFi, a lot of the tokens are pretty much red on the day. I don't think there's anything interesting to say here, except that a lot of things are red. I guess the banker narrative, it is, yeah, that is a pretty nasty candle. I mean, we'll have to see. Things like these can just form a base, but or just retrace like that. We'll have to see. But the DeFi narrative, of course, on chain isn't going to be supported with Bitcoin's price actions like this. So I wouldn't really look into DeFi as the first place to allocate capital. I think currently it is decent time to allocate capital in the coming weeks or so, at least for August, if you wanted to play this final push for, because I do think we will see at the end of the year a push higher overall in the markets, but expect a pretty choppy August. But that is good for DCA for a short term, like for the next few months. But for long term, I don't know. Probability wise is not suggesting that we should put our money into Bitcoin and keep them away for like a few years right now at the end of the 4-year cycle. Do you want to do that when the probability of a bear market is pretty damn high, especially time wise? Well, I think there will just be one more blow off top at the end of this, and then you could sell up there and then accumulate for the next few years or so. But yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say in this video. That's my current update of the markets. My summary is that the markets are probably going to go lower still for the next few days, and then chop around a bit, and then chopping around for pretty much August. It's the most probable use case, but there's also a lower probability, I would say like 20%, that we could just start the bear market when, if Bitcoin goes 107K. So 112K has to hold. If it doesn't, then that's the end of it. But if it goes 107K, then it will, I won't say that's the end of the bull market, but it's not really a good look for the price action. Basically, Bitcoin is going to enter a very mean reverting state for the next couple months. But if it goes 100K, then yeah, that's the end of it. So that's what I'm saying in this video, and I will see you guys. Check out the links below.